In this video, I'm doing something completely different and setting sail on this incredible cruise ship for an unforgettable adventure. Come with me as I spend 1 week on board, exploring everything from luxurious staterooms and relaxing pools to delicious dining options, top-notch entertainment, and I'll be having a drink or two along the way. Plus, I'll be giving you the lowdown on everywhere I visited on this week-long adventure, so get ready for an epic journey at sea. I'm Jetaway Joe and I'm on my first ever cruise, so join me as we sail the Western Caribbean on Sky Princess. And with that, we start the journey in Florida. Well, hello from a very wet and windy Fort Lauderdale in Florida. Welcome to the Sunshine State. Today I'm going to be doing something completely different, something totally brand new for me, and I'm going to be going on my first ever cruise. I'm going to be cruising with Princess Cruises on board Sky Princess through the Western Caribbean. Now I'd usually end these introduction videos with a let's get to the airport, but instead, let's get to the port. We begin our journey by taking a 10-minute Uber to Cruise Terminal 2 at Port Everglades in Fort Lauderdale, which is where Princess sailed from, and it was here I got the first glimpse of our home for the week, Sky Princess. Launched in 2019, she can hold up to 3,660 passengers and has a crew capacity of 1,346. Outside the terminal could only be described as organised chaos at best, but trust me when I say it only took 10 minutes of queuing to get into the terminal and only another 10 minutes to get through it. Although it might not look it, everything was really efficient. Stepping on board and oh my days, she's a stunner. I was greeted with this incredible free floor atrium known as the Piazza, but more on that later in the video. Safety first, I watched the safety video on my phone via the Princess app and visited the muster station. Right, let's head up to the top deck. Stomach's filled and we're now sailing away. Cheers. We sailed from Fort Lauderdale just after 3 p.m. It wasn't the nicest of days weather-wise, but at least it stopped raining. As we sailed away, the Sky Princess's famous Love Boat horn, a tribute to the TV show that was set and sometimes filmed on Princess cruise ships, blasted out as we left port and sailed out into the Atlantic Ocean. Ready. I'd been allocated cabin C323, which was an inside cabin on deck 10. As I was travelling with a friend, our request for twin beds was met and the cabin was much more spacious than I anticipated. The bed each came with a set of bedside drawers and a lamp that had a USB cable connector, perfect for charging phones. There was plenty of storage and hanging space in the wardrobe area, which also featured a small safe. This led into the bathroom. The bathroom was compact but functional, and it had 3 shelves for storage as well as a shelf underneath the sink. Soap and body lotion is provided, as is shower gel, conditioner and shampoo in the shower, which kept good pressure and temperature. The only negative is the shower curtain. It just dates the bathroom and makes the entire cabin feel much older than what it actually is. Back in the room and there's a huge TV, which I don't think I ever watched, a couple of glasses, a phone, 2 US and 2 European plug sockets, a mini fridge for storing drinks, hairdryer. Don't think I'll be needing the hairdryer. And more shelving. Each day our cabin steward would leave us a copy of the Princess Patter, which is a programme of the day's events, showing all entertainment, dining options, and any dress codes for the day. I was impressed by the cabin. It was comfortable, clean, and the storage was fantastic too. It was decorated in neutral tones and it gave off a classic cruise ship elegance. It was bang on what I was expecting, and even better, the cabin was serviced twice a day as well.
Jack the bed. That's nice.
Sky Princess is a stunner. Stepping aboard on Deck 5, you're greeted by the Grand Piazza, a multi-level atrium spanning decks 5 through 7 that serves as the social hub of the ship. Inspired by Italian town squares, it's lined with stylish cafes, boutique shops and lively bars. The International Cafe is a firm favourite for sandwiches, fresh pastries, cakes and coffee, while Vine's Wine Bar is the perfect spot for a pre-dinner drink with ocean views. On decks 5 and 6 you'll also find the ship's 3 main dining rooms. These are included in your cruise fare and all serve the same menus, but are decorated and operate slightly differently. As well as this, on decks 5 through 7 you'll also find the casual dining venues which are an extra charge, like Ocean Terrace Sushi and Alfredo's Pizzeria, and the free speciality dining venues that also come with a surcharge. These include the Italian restaurant at Sabatini's, the Crown Grill Bar and Restaurant, and the fantastic Catch by Rudi, which is a seafood and fish restaurant that we had the pleasure of dining in, so stay tuned for that later in the video. On decks 5 through 7 you'll also find some of the ship's main entertainment venues, including a large casino, a jazz bar with its own jazz band, the Princess Theatre that spans 2 decks where you can watch professional shows, and bars such as the Vista Lounge and Princess Live that kept guests entertained with trivia, karaoke, comedy shows, bands and DJs, making these decks a lively spot for evening fun. From here, most cabins are then found on decks 8 through 15. Up on the top decks of 16 to 18, you'll find the bustling Lido deck, home to pools, hot tubs, deck space, sun lounges and chairs, as well as casual poolside bars and eateries like Slice for pizza and the Salty Dog Grill for burgers and fries. You'll also find a massive outdoor cinema screen that shows movies under the stars and big sporting events. Up here, the ship's buffet, the World Fresh Marketplace, is a huge area and caters to all tastes, offering food and cuisine from around the world, so you'll never go hungry and won't need to go far from the pool either. Up top you'll also find the ship's sports facilities, including a well-equipped gym, a multi-purpose court for basketball, football and pickleball, while there's also a jogging track that provides a scenic way to stay active. 7 laps of this equals a mile. For a more in-depth ship tour, hit the subscribe button now. If there's one thing you won't be on Sky Princess, it's hungry. Dining was a real highlight, with almost all of our meals enjoyed in the main dining room, of which there are 3 on board: Estrella, Soleil and Cielo. These are included in the cruise fare too. Each restaurant has the same menu, but operates and is decorated slightly differently. Estrella is a walk-in dining room and was our go-to for breakfast. I thought the coffee was excellent. There was a great caffeine hit first thing in the morning, and the fresh pastries that came with it were absolutely divine. The menu sometimes had daily breakfast specials, or you could build your own too from a range of hot and cold items.
Breakfast has arrived, moment of truth. Oh yeah.
For me, perfectly poached eggs with crispy bacon and hash browns always hit the spot. Cielo is reservation only, and the only dining room we didn't eat in, while Soleil operates with 2 timed dinner settings, 5 PM and 7:30 PM. We dined at 7:30 with the same table and fantastic waiter Jerry, who remembered our names and our drinks orders too. The menus change daily except for the princess favourites, with themes like Italian night, featuring standout dishes like this lemon meringue pie that was absolutely to die for. I have a sweet tooth and this was incredible. New Year's Eve, however, brought a special menu with complimentary surf and turf, which is usually a premium item. This was a really nice touch and it was excellent, as was the chocolate mousse cake. Overall, the food was consistently flavourful with ideal portion sizes. I never left the dining room hungry or overstuffed, just satisfied and ready for a post-dinner wine. The Catch by Rudi is one of Sky Princess's speciality dining venues, focusing on fish and seafood. Reservations are required and I managed to get a table here on our last night on the ship for 8:30 p.m. Located on deck 7, the restaurant looks out over the atrium, and upon arrival we were greeted and taken to our table, which was in a quiet spot by the corner. Once seated, we were given a complimentary glass of fizz. This did mean that with the glass of wine I walked in with and the glass of wine I ordered at the restaurant, I was now triple parked. Good lord. I could get used to a welcome Prosecco. Anyway, over to the menu. You get to choose one starter, one main and a dessert, then you can also order as many sides such as fries, ratatouille or greens as you wish. Most items are included in the cover charge, but there is a surcharge on certain things like lobster, oysters and seafood towers. Things kicked off with a complimentary taster, which was a capignata with some pesto and mozzarella along with some bread. This was followed by the starter and I went for the crab cakes, which were absolutely delicious. The surf and turf followed. I can't turn down steak and lobster and this was a thing of beauty. The service was excellent too, with my friend's fish being deboned and my lobster tail shell being removed at the table. It was really great to watch it be prepared in front of us. Wow! So far, really fantastic meal, excellent food, excellent service. Totally worth the money. If you're thinking of booking it, book it. I'll get onto the cost later. Dessert followed and I had the Rudi's artistic face-to-face, a chocolate truffle tart cake surrounded by various chocolates designed to look like a face. Cute and delicious in equal measures. This was also followed up with a little bowl of chocolate truffles when we were finishing our meal. Obviously, I can't resist. The surcharge for the Catch by Rudi and all other speciality dining venues on the ship is $45 per person, which for the excellent 3-course meal and good service I thought was really good value for money and I'd highly recommend. This was my first cruise and I was worried. Would I get bored being stuck in the middle of the Caribbean Sea with nowhere to go? What if I hated it? What if I couldn't stand being around that many people? What if I just wanted some peace and quiet? I needn't have worried though, as there was something for everyone on this ship. And I now believe that if you get bored on a cruise, chances are you're a boring person. There was something happening at all hours of the day in various spots around the ship. In the run-up to the cruise, activities and entertainment was loaded into the Princess app, so I could see what was happening and where in advance of the sailing, and honestly, at first, the choice was overwhelming. The app allows you to favourite things too, so it saves in your My Journey section of the app. The piazza is the beating heart of the ship and was where a lot of activities including giant Jenga, dance competitions and line dancing took place throughout the day and evening. The bars surrounding the piazza were great places to grab a seat to watch all that was going on. The Vista Lounge would have comedy shows, live music, and even a silent disco one night, whereas Princess Live was my favourite spot on the ship. During the day you could find the likes of art auctions taking place, but in the evenings it was the go-to spot for the likes of karaoke and trivia. We really enjoyed the trivia, ranging from currencies of the world through to Friends and even ABBA trivia, which we won, the prize being a bottle of fizz. Let's go sample some wine. Even the main dining rooms got involved in activities. Between meal services, wine tasting events were held here on sea days at an extra charge. Under the guidance of the ship's sommelier, we got to sample various white, red and sparkling wines, as well as delicious little canapes on the side. The wines and pairings were excellent, and I left the dining room after feeling a little bit tipsy. We didn't go to the theatre in the evening as the production shows just aren't our thing, although we did go here in the day for a very entertaining culinary demonstration from the cruise director, head chef and restaurant manager, each of them delivering jokes and banter as well as quick and easy tasty dishes. Cruising over New Year, the main pool decks were always busy, with the giant screen often showing films, live concerts and sporting events. It was up here on New Year's Eve where a deck party was held. It was a great atmosphere with the live band belting out hits in the countdown up to the new year and the drinks flowing. The party went on into the early hours of the morning. I think I got to bed at 2 a.m. and people were still up on deck. It got pretty rowdy with people jumping into the pools, swimming and just having a great time. Now, I know what you're thinking. What if I wanted to chill out? Thankfully, Sky Princess is a big ship, so there's plenty of space to spread out. The adults only retreat pool at the bow of the ship and the wake view pool at the wake were two quieter pools for chilling out. I always managed to find a lounger at these two pools. Both had bars and the retreat pool had the bonus of being adults only. Happy days. There were also some quieter outdoor decks by the Vista Lounge bar too. For a more relaxed evening experience, Take 5 was a bar that wasn't open to the piazza, so a lot of the noise associated with the entertainment there was blocked out, and instead the chilled, smooth sounds of jazz coming from the live musicians would play through the bar. Was a perfect accompaniment to a good Cabernet Sauvignon. Let's take a look at the Princess Medallion and the technology that comes with it. The Princess Medallion is a wearable, coin-sized device that replaces traditional cruise cards. It allows for keyless stateroom entry by recognising you nearby and opening the door, contactless payments, finding your way around the ship, and even finding family and friends on board. In the app, you can order food and drinks for delivery anywhere on the ship. The crew use the technology to find where you are, along with your photo on your profile, which was very handy as some of the bars have pretty long lines. You can also check on orders that you've made and access your cruise account on here too, which is super important. It was easy to check daily entertainment schedules, book excursions and dining, and access real-time ship navigation. The information boards on decks by the lifts could be accessed using your medallion, allowing you to log into the boards and find your way around the ship. Say I wanted to go down to Future Cruise and Loyalty. I'd scroll through the deck plan until I found it, click Get Me There, and it'd show me the quickest route to take. It's a nifty piece of technology, and Princess even has an accessories shop on board, but I'll post a link to the wristbands I purchased before my cruise. They're more wallet friendly and you'll find that in the description below. This week-long cruise took me to 4 ports in the Western Caribbean and were places I'd never really thought of visiting before.
Well, good morning. It's day 2 on Sky Princess and we've just arrived in the Bahamas.
Princess Cays is Princess's private beach resort in the Bahamas and is a tender port, so you're ferried to shore by tenders, which was well organised and took no time at all to get there, about 15 minutes in total. The sand here is a beautiful white that's perfect for swimming. It's ideal for families too, and the beach and water were all exceptionally clean. The resort's got bars, so we were never too far away if we needed a beer, a barbecue buffet for when stomachs rumbled at lunch, a craft market, and activities here can include snorkeling, swimming, water sports like banana boats, and this all takes place in a stunning swaying palm tree tropical paradise. It was the perfect spot to relax with a beer, and a bonus of Princess K's is that if you're sailing with Princess, your Plus and Premier package works in the resort too, taking away any added cost worries. The only downside though, the tender back to the ship, everyone headed back at the same time, leading to some big queues, but I guess this is something that can't really be helped. That was a fantastic day here in the Bahamas, and on to the next destination, which is Jamaica on New Year's Day. Tomorrow's New Year's Eve, which is at sea. We're timing it just right as it's just starting to rain. Gotta love that tropical weather. Good morning, Happy New Year. It's January 1st, 2025, and I'm here in Montego Bay, Jamaica. Montego Bay was a last-minute change from the Jamaican port of Ocho Rios due to port congestion. It also happened to be New Year's Day. The cruise port is on the outskirts of town, around 45 kilometres from the beaches, but shuttles are organised from the cruise port with an advertised price of $14 return. 12 of us hopped into a minivan, hoping to do a route around town taking in beaches and some shops, or so I thought. Our driver took us through the centre of Montego Bay, which isn't the prettiest of places, to Rose Hall, a Georgian-era plantation that is now a museum, home to the legend of the White Witch of Rose Hall. I was hoping to be able to get out and see the house, maybe take a picture, but the driver turned us around and drove all the way back to Montego Bay because they'll charge us for pictures apparently. I mean, come on, what were the point? All the while I'm nursing a hangover in the back of a smelly minivan with no aircon on terrible roads. The shopping stop was a petrol station at the end of the airport runway with some very dodgy characters hanging around. The whole place just didn't feel safe at all. By the time we actually got to the beach, 90 minutes after getting in the van, I just wanted to be back on the ship. The final straw came when the driver said he'd pick us up 15 minutes before we were due to sail away. Absolutely not. That felt far too close to the wire, so it was back to the ship for all 12 of us. Top tip for Montego Bay, stay on the ship. Well, new day, new port. Welcome to Georgetown in the Cayman Islands. Grand Cayman is another tender port, which again was well organised, so that's another well done for Princess. We'd not planned any excursions here, but wanted to check out 7 Mile Beach, which has even been dubbed the Caribbean's best beach by Life magazine. The public buses in Grand Cayman are an effective way of getting around. We flagged one down, told the friendly driver where we wanted to go. He agreed, and it cost us $2.50 per person each way, which was excellent value if you ask me. The trip from the port to 7 Mile Beach took around 10 minutes. The beach itself was beautiful, and we managed to find a quiet spot for a couple of hours of sunbathing, napping, and swimming too. The water really was too tempting. I mean, look at the colour of it. We then walked the full length of this glorious beach back towards Georgetown, and there are plenty of beachside restaurants and bars to have a spot of lunch in. Just make sure you've got a decent credit card limit though. I really liked the Cayman Islands. It was exactly what I was expecting from a Caribbean port. Stunning beaches, good vibes, and despite being small, Georgetown itself was full of the hustle and bustle you'd expect from a Caribbean port too.
Good morning. Last port day today. We're approaching Cozumel in Mexico. It's very windy though. I've just come up on deck with a cup of coffee. Was going to go for a walk, but it's so windy. Coffee was going to get blown away. Busy port, and it's raining.
Oh, it's raining.
There was around 7 or 8 ships from various cruise lines docked in a drizzle at Cozumel that morning. Upon disembarking the ship, you could instantly tell you were in Mexico, with sombreros and margaritas on offer everywhere. We booked an excursion via Princess, which was an all-inclusive beach club for the day, and it included transportation too, being a 20-minute drive or so from the port. Now, maybe I'm spoiled by beach clubs that I've been to in the likes of Majorca, Cyprus and Santorini, which have all felt pretty exclusive, but this one didn't quite hit the mark. There was a pool, although it was small and full of kids, and then there was row upon row of sun loungers, some of which weren't in the best condition, and you had to pay extra for cushions on the plastic sun loungers too, which I thought was pretty cheeky and not quite all inclusive. It was okay, but it felt a bit run down and needed a bit of TLC. That said, the sun came out and the drinks flowed, so I was pretty happy. And it also included a main meal at the restaurant too. The food and beer on offer was absolutely decent. It was just alright.
Gotta have some tequila in Mexico.
The tequila tasting, however, was really good fun, and we got to sample a few shots of it, although I think I'd had enough with just the one. Points for guessing what came out of my mouth after this shot.
Here,
That's easy.
We left on a high and staggered back to the ship in time to get ready for formal night, finishing our cruise watching the sunset over the Caribbean Sea with a glass of wine in hand on the top deck.
Well, we've arrived back into Fort Lauderdale after a great 7-night cruise on Sky Princess. I've really enjoyed it as a first-time cruiser, so much so I might be getting off this cruise with another one already booked. You'll have to stick around if you want to see where I end up in August 2026, however.
So I've got another cruise booked, therefore I must have enjoyed it, and I really did. I loved being able to unpack once and wake up in a different location. It really felt like a holiday instead of living out of a suitcase. I thought Princess as a cruise line really suited us with their focus on good food and drinks, the relaxed social vibe that felt classy but not pretentious, and the range of activities that were available on board. Was it perfect? Of course not. There were a couple of niggles like bar queues and maybe one morning where the service was a bit off in the restaurant, but that wouldn't deter me from sailing with Princess again. Don't get me wrong, the Caribbean is stunning, but I found the destinations to be a bit samey. I like a bit of adventure and these destinations didn't quite hit the mark on that. They were really beach orientated, which was fine as we wanted a bit of a fly and flop holiday to test the waters with cruising. Excuse the pun. But stay tuned and subscribe to see where I cruise to in 2026 that will hopefully tick the adventure box.
Thanks for watching. See you again soon.